If your blood runs orange and blue, this is the pod for you. You're listening to Orange and Blue Bloods, hosted by EJ Stewart and Tommy Beer. Let's get to it, New York.
Okay, so let's start with the Action Network's Joe Delaire, who's an NBA writer for the Action Network. He writes, where do you think the Knicks finish in the East? 5 seems to be their ceiling, but I struggle to see them dipping below 8 with their floor, so they'd be, at worst, have a crack at the last 2 playoff spots. Tommy, I'll start with you. Where do you see the Knicks finishing where we stand right now in the standings?
Yeah, I think Joe's on the money there. The current lay of the land at the moment, Knicks a half game ahead of Miami. Knicks in the 6th seed, a half game ahead of Miami, who sit 7th, and 2 games back of the Nets, who sit 5th. And the good news is, they're 3.5 games ahead of the Hawks. Obviously, Atlanta, new head coach in town. We saw over the past few days, Nate McMillan got let go. Sounds like they're targeting Quinn Snyder, but they're going to have an interim in the meantime. Maybe that could spark a bit, get the Hawks kind of up and running and get back on track. It seems like they haven't, or on track. It seems like they haven't been on track all season. If I had to, put money on it, I think the 6th seed is probably the safest bet. I'm not sure if that's Miami at 5 and the Nets at 7 or the Knicks. Right. I think the Knicks believe they have a shot at advancing to 5. And with the new revamped Nets team, sans KD and Kyrie, that's certainly an option. But you're right. I think that the floor, fortunately, is the 8th seed. But obviously, the kind of line of demarcation is securing that 6th seed. That's going to be the motivation for the securing the 5th seed, obviously, and avoiding one of the Bucks, Celtics, or Sixers, be also a goal. But the main motivation here is getting at least that 6th spot.
Yeah, I think that I agree with the assessment. I think that the 5 is their ceiling. I can't see them catching Cleveland at any point. They're about 4.5 games behind them. Knicks have to go on a crazy tear. The Cleveland Cavaliers playing really well right before the All-Star break. They won 8 of their last 10 games. So I think Cleveland is not happening in terms of catching them in the standings. I think 5, they could definitely catch Brooklyn, only 2 games back there. The Heat are still in play. And while we say, okay, 8 seed, that seems a little unlikely because of the standings. Remember, it's once you get into the play-in, then it's just whoever wins that first game gets the 7th seed, and then whoever wins the second playing game gets the 8th seed. So if they were to play against the Hawks, let's say, in a 1-game situation, could the Hawks beat the Knicks? I mean, we've seen that before, so I wouldn't put it past them. So could the Knicks find themselves playing for their lives in the 8th seed matchup against, either the Wizards or Raptors or Bulls? Certainly. I can't see the Knicks losing their last 2 games in a must-win situation with the way they're playing right now. I would assume they would definitely at least get to 8. If I would put money on it right now, I would say they will get I'm going to say they get the 5th. I really think Brooklyn's going to falter, and it's going to be a race between them and Miami. I'm not sure how much Miami will really value the 5th seed over the 6th seed, to be honest. Like, I think that they're a team that they kind of feel like, look, we just need to be as healthy as possible, playing as good as possible. So if the Knicks really want that 5th seed that badly to play Cleveland as opposed to playing the Sixers or Bucks, which I think that they would, then I think you'll see maybe Miami kind of take their foot off the gas towards the end. I don't think Miami's afraid of Philly. They beat Philly in the playoffs last season, so I don't think that they care whether or not they play Philly or Cleveland. So I'm saying the Knicks get the 5th, but I do think that is their ceiling. I guess I'm a little glass half full in that regard. But I think it's a right assessment there that 5 and 8 are essentially that's their range right now.
I think we'll have a much better idea 1 week from today. Next week, the Knicks play. They host Brooklyn Wednesday, March 1st, and then they play at Miami Friday, March 3rd. After those 2 games, we should have a better feel of. Let me ask you this, EJ: 22 games left. Do you sign up for 11-11? Do you sign up for 13 and 9? Or basically, what do you predict over? What's your feel over this final stretch of the season?
So if they win 500, they win 11-11. That puts you at what, 44 and 36, right? No, 44 and 38. Doing that math quickly. So yes. I think they have to do a little better than that. I think, to me, like, you probably want to be in between that 46 and 48 win range. I think if you want to secure a top 6 seed here, not that I think. Atlanta, I think, is toast. I don't think you have to worry about them jumping up there to get to that 44 number. But I think, could Brooklyn stay ahead of 44? They only have to play essentially 1 game below 500 to do that. Could Miami get to 44? They'd have to only play, 2 or 3 games above. I think that both of those are still possible. So I think to me, if they can get to, I think 46 is the magic number to me. If they can, so that would be, I guess, 13 wins down the stretch. So if they can go 13-9 here, that would probably be the number I'd be looking at.
I'd agree, but I would also note the opponents they beat is also going to matter. As I mentioned, they play the Nets next. They play the Nets next Wednesday. They play the Heat 3 more times over the final month of the season, final 5 weeks of the season here. So those games, I think, essentially, whether you want to view them as playoff games or not, if the Knicks go 3-0 in those games, that's it's going to be difficult for Miami to leapfrog them.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless the Knicks fall apart in their other games. So those games, but assuming they go 2-1 or 1-2, that's probably going to come down right to the the final week of the season.
Yes, very good.